All the students who fear reorder paragraphs and tend to lose their marks, or maybe you are very first to do this or practice this, here is a clear video explaining one set of reorder paragraphs, the answer in a very clear and scoring way. There will be 5 steps which we will follow along with time. We will also understand the logic behind this answer, and at last there is one practice set for the students. Follow the same steps given in the class. Later apply it on the practice set and post your answers. And before we do the reorder paragraphs, here are the important points to remember. How exactly is your scoring? So students, stay confident, there is no negative marking. Whatsoever answer is wrong, you just get a 0 mark for that. There is no negative marking, so very much rest assured. Marks are given only for the correct order. So there is no extra marks which you will be losing if your order is going incorrect. There are no partial marks also. It is either your full marks or a 0 mark. So it is always good for you all to attempt it even if you are not aware of that. Now let's come to the practice set. The question on the screen, pause the video, study quickly or maybe take your time, write down your answers and let's see how many answers are yours matching with the answer key. Here we go. The sentence 5, which was sometimes about 1.5 million years ago, some forgotten genius of the hominid world did an unexpected thing. So this tends to be your first sentence. The reason? It introduced the time element here, which is 1.5 million years ago. So this is your key. Following, it is about the hominid world who did something unexpected. So this becomes your another hint. Because of that time frame and the main person who is the inventor, this becomes your opening sentence. Very beautiful. Following this is the same second sentence in the reorder paragraphs, which is your second sentence also. Why? It starts with a pronoun he because that is the inventor, or probably it may be the she also. And what the inventor did? He or she took one stone and carefully used to shape another. So this explains what the inventor has actually done. So this is following the introduction. So the action following the introduction. So what is the key? It is sentence 5 following sentence 2. Now sentence 3 in the key is sentence 4 in the reorder paragraphs. The result was a simple teardrop shaped hand axe, but it was the world's first piece of advanced technology. What are we seeing here? We are seeing the result of an action. In the prior sentence, they tried to shape it carefully, and now the result is it has become a teardrop shaped hand axe. So this is the result. The result always comes after the action. This is what we have to remember. Following this is sentence number 3, which is, it was so superior that existing tools that soon others were following the inventor's lead and making hand axes of their own. Now, what is the role of this particular sentence? It says how the impact was and how it spread to the world. So others copied it because it was better. This is the logic behind this particular sentence. And the last sentence is sentence 5, which says, eventually whole societies existed that seemed to do little else. So what happened here? The final large scale outcome. So what is the result? What is that large scale outcome? The whole society followed it. So this happens to be your concluding sentence. Hope you are learning, and maybe one or two, or maybe fully, your answer was completely correct. Let's understand the 5 steps along with the time. When you do the reorder paragraphs, the first thing is try to introduce or try to locate for that introduction sentence. And what is the time? Just try to see that you are spending 10 to 15 seconds, not more than that. And this will come after a little practice. Copy down the time limit in your notes and try to follow it after you have commanded a few practice reorder paragraph questions. How to identify this introduction sentence? There are different hints. After you solve a couple of questions, you understand the real logic behind it. So never do this false attempt. What is that false attempt? You just randomly pick some question, do it in your own way. If you're getting the answer, you're happy. If you're not getting the answer, you again discourage yourself. No, this is not the way. Understand the logic behind it. So when you solve this particular section, the logic behind this was there was the time sequence followed. The words like sometimes, years ago, and eventually, the 3 words which were speaking about the time sequence order. Eventually word will always come at the end. Eventually is as a result of. So the results will always come at the end. That is again 90%. Sometimes writers become very tricky. They tend to change the pattern. And how do you know it? You understand with little practice. Okay. The second identification is the proper noun or a general subject. And generally, reorder paragraphs don't start with he, she, or it, or they, which are the pronouns. So when you understand this, there goes your first sentence, which is also called as an opening sentence or a standalone sentence. And in our set, it was sometime about 1.5 million years ago. So what is this? This is our opening sentence. Fine. Now, let us proceed to sentence 2. That is step 2. What happened here? Identify the pronouns to nouns. Go to match the pronouns with the nouns given. And how much time? 10 seconds only. Why? Because this is very quick. This is very quick. So shut down or cut down your time, which is 10 seconds only. So paragraphs never start with a pronoun. That is the takeaway of the class. So he or she, if it is given, that always needs a person before. If it is given as it, that also requires an object before. Similarly, if there are words like this or that, then that requires an idea before. So in your opening sentence, identify the person, the object, and or an idea and try to connect it accordingly. And thereby you save your time, 10 seconds only. Place the pronoun sentences after the sentence that introduces the noun. So that is the order. Fine. Fair going, isn't it? Now, step 3. What you have to do? Identify the logical flow. What is the logical flow here we have observed? And try to give it 15 seconds. See, the time has increased here. The order is always like this. A 5-step, which is introduction, which is action, which is result, which is the effect. Effect is the consequence, the outcome. And finally, it is the conclusion. When you are doing a reorder paragraph, always think who the person is, what did they do, what was produced, what happened next, and what was the final outcome. Copy these 5 questions in your notes and attempt it whenever required, students. Step number 4 is doing a comparison and understanding the impact of it. and for that 10 seconds only. Focus on the words like superior, better than, soon, others, and eventually. One more time. Superior, better than, soon, others, and eventually. What happens? These always come after the main result. Now, step number 5 is identification of the final sentence. Identification of the final sentence, for which you give only 5 to 10 seconds time. The example concluding sentences will talk about the society, the long-term effects it had, and it will sound very broad or final. And these generally go at the last. And when we see it in our example, it says whole societies existed. Whole societies, that means a broader application, and that is your strong ending, which is your conclusion. So let's understand the order again, which I explained you earlier also. So what is this particular reorder paragraph working like? There is a time sequence, there is a person, action, result, the spread, and the society. Why this is the correct, or why what I should do when I solve one more practice set? Focus on the logic and focus that you give only 60 seconds as your time target. After a clear explanation of that, here is the practice question. Apply the same logic, follow the same reorder paragraph sequence, and post your answers. That was all for today. Happy learning.